All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Gentlemens Brunch. Once again, I'm your host, Billie G. Williams. Shout out to my co-host, Ross, who is not with me for this portion of the show. But yeah, I'm back out here in these Brooklyn streets once again, hitting these brunch streets. It's Saturday, Cinco De Mayo weekend, and I stumbled onto this place, Mama Taco. So I said, you know what, they doing brunch for Cinco de Mayo. Let me go check it out and see what it's hitting for. Then I'm gonna go have me a drink, have me a meal, and let y'all know what I think. So stay tuned. All right. Welcome back to the Gentleman's Brunch. Once again, I'm your host, Billie G. Williams, and I am joined by my brother in podcasting, Ross the Product. All right. So this is the portion of the show where we play a video, we react in real time, give our takes, and make it do what it do. So on this video, Ross, I'm not sure, do you follow Cam Newton's podcast, the Funky Fridays?
No, I don't follow it, but I do happen to see clips every now and then.
Okay. So Cam is a bit of a bozo. He toes the bozo line. But I do enjoy his Funky Friday podcast because he has guests. It's mainly a guest-oriented podcast. So there was a portion in the Stephen A. interview where he got into politics, right? The last time we discussed Stephen A., we talked about Stephen A. possibly becoming the next president in the next election, which me and Ross agreed it probably wasn't a good idea for him to do that. But Stephen A. can't stay out of these political streets, so he gave an interesting take on the strategy that Black people should entertain going into the next election. And I heard a very similar take with Dr. Umar, but we're going to watch the video and we're going to react in real time.
I wish for one election that every Black person would vote Republican. They're like, what? How can he say that? I said, it's simple. Since 1964, the Black folks, we have been giving our vote to the Democratic Party at an exorbitant rate. Therefore, they know they got our vote, and they don't have to cater to us as much as we need them to. The Republicans know they'll never get our vote, so they don't give a damn about us. And as a result, we're the only community in America devoid of representation, which is why we're considered disenfranchised. I'm tired of that. What I want is to put ourselves as a community in a position where both parties have to work to get our vote. All
right, Brother Ross. I know politics is your bag. So I said, let's start this one off, get Ross all warmed up. So Stephen A.'s take on that strategy for Black people going into the next election. So what's your thoughts on that one, brother?
You know, honestly, that's my first time seeing that, and the first thing that came to mind was, why would he recommend for all Black people to vote Republican? Mm-hmm. As if if you don't vote for a Democrat, you could only. I mean, maybe he wasn't saying this in particular. Maybe I'm just jumping the gun, but why would he just say vote Republican?
That's what he said. He said vote Republican. That's what he said.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, because all right, yeah, cool. So he said exactly. He said exactly that, right? As if if you don't vote Democrat, then you should only vote Republican based on what he said. But at the same time, you know, the Republicans, especially with this administration and the Supreme Court, just annihilated the whole, the Voting Rights Act. So, so the Black vote has already been decimated by this Republican reign and this Republican rule by much of the Supreme Court that Donald Trump has put into place, and by many of the actions that the Trump administration via Project 2025, however you want to look at it, has always been wanting to do from the very beginning. So it's like I understand when people say if you vote Republican or if you vote Democrat, you just going from one plantation to the other as a Black person, and I totally get and understand that. So I don't think that that's a viable option from Stephen A. Smith. Black people, we also have the option of voting third party.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I've said it before. I've said it before in this podcast. I'm an independent, so automatically for me, the Democrats and the Republicans have to fight for my vote. And if I was to encourage Black people to do anything, it's to also go independent and have both parties actually fight for your vote, or vote. Vote for candidates that you feel actually supports Black people as a whole. Like, don't ever think that you got to go right or left. You can go in the direction that you want, and that's the direction that I would encourage for Black people to go into, not just go or Republican. Vote third party. Vote for somebody who you actually believe in and who's not beholden to this structure that has been fucking over Black people either way.
Right.
So it's like that opinion from Stephen A. Smith. It's his opinion. I get that that's his opinion. Maybe that falls in line with his political belief, but I don't think that that's the only option. The only other option for Black people, especially since both parties have been fucking us over. So
right.
I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that for now, at least.
Well, I always tell you, politics is my least favorite topic to talk about. Because it's all bullshit to me. But in terms of strategy, like I said earlier, I heard a similar, kind of different, but kind of similar take from Dr. Umar. Most people shit on Dr. Umar, and I get why they shit on him, but we can't discount that he's a very smart guy. And
yes,
something that he often speaks on is organizing our vote. And I guess that's kind of what Stephen A. was trying to hint at with that take, organizing our vote, and to your point, getting behind a candidate that we believe in that will push our agenda and get policies through that benefit us. I am in agreement with that strategy, in terms of that strategy. Now, in terms of political parties, I forget what year it was, but I know it was coming right out of slavery. I don't know if it made it to the Jim Crow era, but for many years, Black people did vote Republican before we just parked in with the Democratic Party and just kind of stayed there for many years. And as history has shown us, neither party has really done much for Black people or the Black struggle or the Black agenda. So I don't have any loyalty to one party, to your point about being independent. So I guess I will identify as an independent voter at this point. But I must say, when I get to the voting polls, it is very difficult for me to vote for a Republican candidate. I don't know if that's some preconditioned thing. I'm not sure. But as I've educated myself more politically, I focus more on the policies of candidates. What is their record, things that they've done in the past, and what on their agenda is going to benefit me or my community. That's kind of my strategy when it comes to voting, as I've gotten older and got more mature and educate myself. And of course, the debates. I like to watch the debates and just kind of see how each candidate feels about certain issues and what's their plans and things of that nature. So it's a little tricky, but I definitely agree in terms of strategy. As a community, vote as a community, not as each individual person. Somebody helps organize the community, get with some community organizers, discuss our issues, our gripes, whatever it is that we want to see changing, and then get behind a candidate that supports those things. I do agree with that. But Stephen A. in the political realm, listen, I feel like Stephen A. just like being on the camera. He like to hear himself talk. He like to be on the camera. But in terms of the political game, yeah, I don't really have a lot of faith in Stephen A. Smith as an actual political opponent in any race. I really don't have a lot of faith in Stephen A. with that, man.
Yeah, and it's like his thing about voting Republican. Like, I really believe, and from what I've seen, from what I've seen with Black people, especially in going into this MAGA era, it's one thing that has happened with a lot of like big black people that were in or part of MAGA was like they loved us when we were supporting the candidates. They loved us when we're supporting the cause and everything like that. But then when it's like, oh, how come y'all not doing anything for us? It's like, oh, just get back in your place, black person.
Right.
Or like we like it when you're doing us the favors and getting us all the hurrah and praise and support from black people. But when it comes to actually returning the favor or actually caring, it's like, that's where we get minimized and shut down. And a lot of those black people that were on the MAGA train or the MAGA bus turn around and regret even supporting it from the very beginning. It was like, man, like what? It's like, man, like I dragged my people into this, and now we're all getting screwed. And the powers that be, especially in the Republican Party, for example, is are just fine with that. Are just fine with that because they got what they wanted. But when are we going to get what we want? So expecting that from the Republican Party or for any other party that's not solely vested in our interests is always going to end us back in the same position all over again. So I would just hope that we can really learn from these instances and really get ourselves in line to make some big decisions. And being able to do that apart from the two political parties that have continued to show that they only want us for our vote, but not for anything else.
So let me ask you this question, brother, because like I said, you're more politically savvy than I am. How much faith do you have in the political system in America in terms of actually representing the interests of, black people? On a scale from 1 to 10, how much faith do you have?
I'd say I give it about just on first thought, I'd say I give it about a 6. The reason why I give it a 6 is because I've seen how when we could get together and when we really put our our ambitions and our hopes and our demands in line, we can get together and get things done, right? The voting rights, the Voting Rights Act is a prime example of that. Truly historical piece of legislation on many levels, right? There's been a ton of things that's been done at a local level, city level, and so on, right? The election of Obama, as another example, and there's tons more of examples that I'm skirting over for the sake of time, but those are just some key examples of when we get together, we can really make it happen. In one way or the other, right? But the only issue is that when that happens, or when those things happen, sometimes I've seen that we kind of take our foot off, we let our foot off the gas a little bit, right? We let our foot off the gas. So now when you elect an Obama, you bring him in, but then folks don't show up for the midterms. Right, folks don't show up for the midterms, and then the next party could just come in and then turn Obama into a lame duck president. To where now he can't even get anything through because a lot of the support that he had from the beginning, folks didn't show up again because it's not a presidential race, for example, right? Even when it comes to putting pressure on even what's happening right now, like I mentioned, the whole Voting Rights Act being obliterated by the Supreme Court. I don't hear no black people, or sorry, I shouldn't say I don't hear no black people. I don't hear enough black people, coming up and causing an uproar about this. Even though it could lead to us being gerrymandered, us being gerrymandered out of our vote being adequately represented, to where now we could lose Senate seats. We could lose a number of the things that the Voting Rights Act actually made a difference in protecting for us. We're now losing that, and I don't see the uproar. And folks really having an issue with that, and I find that to be a problem. You know, I find that to be a big problem. So it's like we could get together and we can make things happen, but we need to be consistent and we need to be persistent on the things that really make a difference for us and making sure that those positions are always being held and put up to the forefront, and don't let any foot off the gas off the necks of the people that's supposed to be delivering these things for us, especially if we're voting for them, right? So that's part of why I say it's a 6. And another part of the reason why I say that is because if we was to get those things together and really be, you know, aligned in what we want, and not be swayed by the temptations of other parties, whatever the case is, then I would put it at a higher number. But we need to really get it together as a people in order for that number to go up, in my opinion. Because it's when we take ourselves seriously, that's when everybody else is going to take us seriously. So I only have as much faith in us as much as we're willing to put into it, and ensure that the acts of all of the people who stood up for us in the past, that we're continuing to fight the fight. We're continuing to fight the fight, because as much as we're capable of doing that, and as much as we could continue to be persistent in that, then that's when I'll have more faith in what the outcomes can be. You know, so I would really wish it could be higher, but that's how I feel at the time.
Okay. Now, before we close out on the topic, I'm gonna say for me, I'm gonna give it. I'm somewhere between a 4 and a 5, but I'm gonna say a 5. Because to your point, when we're focused, we're organized, we're educating ourselves, change can happen. It might not happen all at once, but it can happen. But then the flip side to that, I think when we do get some momentum in a certain direction in the political realm, then that's when we start getting lazy, to your point about the midterm elections, right? We don't fight the fight all the way through to the very end. We start getting lazy. And I think the Obama presidency proved that, right? We got Obama in there. We thinking everything is all good now because we got a black president. I think we do have the ability. The system is flawed, but we have seen it help us. It might not have been on a consistent basis, but we have seen it benefit us in certain instances. But I just think we get lazy at a certain point where we don't follow all the way through. And also the whole staying organized thing, like really staying organized, moving as one, collectivizing our vote, and really like getting behind the candidates that we believe in, not the candidates that they put in front of us. That's where I get lost with the political game, is where they put these candidates out there and force you to vote for them. That I don't know you, I don't fuck with you, never heard of you, blah blah blah. And this is they like, well, this is what you got to pick from. We stay organized, right? We educate ourselves politically, really do our research, and get and to your earlier point about the independent vote. And like I said, unifying our vote and getting behind a candidate that we believe in. I think if we were able to pull that off, that would turn the election process upside down on its head. That's my take on that.
Yeah, I get that.
All right, my brother.
All right, so I just sat down. So decent brunch menu, not like a super big selection, but I ordered some steak and eggs and a drink called Danza Eterna. So it's Reposado Don Julio. It's like a berry puree, lime juice, and I think coconut cream is in there. So I'm gonna give the drink a try and see what it's in for. All right. So just got my drink. So this is the Danza Eterna. So like I said, this is Don Julio Reposado. Some berry puree, some lime juice, and I believe some coconut cream. So it's like a somewhat fruity drink. Looks good. So far the vibe is pretty decent. Egg whites. Yes. Yeah, so I ordered the steak and eggs for my meal. Actually, I like the eggs, but I like egg whites. Let's roll for the egg whites. But yeah, there's Eternia looks pretty interesting. I'm gonna take a sip. So we're gonna see what's going on. So scramble is fun. I can't get no egg whites. You want me to have high cholesterol. Nigga's pretty good. Still trying to catch the flavor. Still trying to catch the flavor. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's something I definitely will order again. Stay tuned.
As we fade out of reacting ass, recent Draymondisms range from viral out-of-pocket jokes on Netflix to candid, reflective insights about his legacy with the Golden State Warriors and his relationship with head coach Steve Kerr. On an episode of the Draymond Green Show, he opened up about his offensive stagnation after Kevin Durant joined the Warriors in 2016, specifically mentioning how head coach Steve Kerr's playbook hindered his true offensive potential, while also acknowledging Kerr's vital role in his success. During a recent Inside the NBA appearance in mid-2026, Draymond Green clashed with Hall of Famer Charles Barkley regarding the future of the Golden State Warriors, when Barkley claimed nobody wins when they are 37, and that the Warriors dynasty is over. Draymond fired back, "I think the goal is just to not look like you in a Houston Rockets uniform."
What?
All right. So, my brother Ross, Draymond Green of the Golden State Warriors, right? We know Draymond Green for many things, but I think most recently is his big ass mouth. He runs his mouth all the time and just say the wildest shit. He kind of remind me, I'm gonna say, of this generation's like Charles Barkley. When Barkley was a young cat, he used to just say all type of off the wall shit. But I think Barkley now has gotten more savvy with, you know, his takes and things that he says on TV now. But I think Draymond just says things that he doesn't think about what he says. So,
Right.
Draymond overvaluing himself as a player, and also taking a stab at Charles Barkley's latter part of his career. What's your take on that, brother?
You know, we gotta make a segment at some point, or just have a time where we just talk about basketball players and podcasts. We gotta make a note to just talk about basketball players and podcasts.
That is a good topic. That's a damn good topic. So I'm gonna keep that. Yeah. We might have to bring that out for the first episode of next season. We might have to bring that one.
Yeah, and like just we can even like after like the finals is done, because I'm sure all the basketball podcasters are going to be talking all through the summer, so it's going to give us plenty to break down too. But like that's a whole topic. That's a whole topic in itself.
That's actually a really great idea.
Yeah, but you know what I'm thinking with this one is, yeah, like, you know, like you said, him overvaluing himself. I think because I do recall earlier in the season where there was like some trade rumors where Draymond may be traded or whatever the case is.
Draymond was out of there. Just nobody didn't want him.
Yeah. And that's what I'm getting at. I think that when he realized that happened, and that's when
he was good as gone. Just nobody didn't want him.
Yeah, so when that happened, or when he started to realize that, then it's like the writing was on the wall. He's like, oh, maybe, you know, now I'm going to start to point the finger at everybody else. I'm going to point the finger at Steve Kerr, where if you were a threat, then people wouldn't be leaving him open all the damn time, right? You know, he's always been known as a defensive player, and I always liked him as a defensive player, but you gotta understand that only goes but so far. But if you haven't shown yourself to be a threat otherwise, then why are you mad? You know, if Steve Kerr seen that you had the ability to be able to do these things, then Steve Kerr would have drawn up these plays for you. But if you didn't show your capacity to do that, then why are you mad? You know, I forgot who I was watching the other day, but the person said the reason why Draymond Green punched Jordan Poole in the face is because Jordan Poole said, "I'm the offensive guy and you're not. Like, I'm the option and you're not." And that's why
interesting.
And that's why he punched him in the face.
Listen, I'm not even gonna lie.
I'm starting to really feel like that's the case. You know,
I'm not even gonna lie. If I was Jordan Poole, right? Exactly. I'm not, and I ain't mean to cut you. I ain't even gonna lie. If I was Jordan Poole, because you seen the video when he punched his dude in the face, right? I'm not gonna front. I might have would have did a Gilbert Arenas and brought that hammer to work the next day, man. Draymond would have had to feel a little bit of pressure. I am not a Draymond guy. I can't stand that motherfucker. Every time he talk, I like cringe every time he talk. Punch me in the face and walk around and talk about it? Oh, nah, brother. I'm about to pull his heat out on you real quick when I see you. Sorry, brother. I ain't mean to cut you. That's just Draymond. Draymond just like triggers me. I'm sorry. I get triggered when I hear him talk.
Listen, and it's like, look, I can't knock that, right? Like, if I was Poole, like, I would have thought the same thing too, right? But now, I think everybody already knew what it was. Everybody's seen what Draymond is actually capable of, and seeing that he was never able to fully step into that role, and he just had a hard time accepting it. He got a hard time accepting it. So now what he's doing is, and that's part of what I'm getting at, is that instead of improving his game, he just lashes out on people.
Right.
Poole, Barkley, Kerr,
Durant,
you name it,
all of them.
Durant, all of them, instead of just improving his game, and that's where the issue is really at the end of the day, and that's just how some people are. They're like, everybody else is the issue. I'm not the issue.
Oh, he's a bozo. I can't stand that motherfucker. Yeah. All right, let me gather myself because I get very triggered talking about Draymond Green. So let's deal with Draymond, the basketball player. All right. So Draymond had a very successful college career. I believe he made it to a Final Four. Maybe he might have even won a championship, but I think he made it to the Final Four. I think he was an All-American. He had a pretty successful college career. But when he got drafted, he was a second-round pick. He didn't get drafted in the first round. So the NBA scouts didn't value him as a first-round pick. So that clearly tells you that you not like that. Even though scouts have been wrong on a lot of dudes, including Jalen Brunson, who was a second-round pick as well, had a successful college career, and they shitted on him too. And he came in the NBA and then turned everybody upside down. Now, we won't get into that a little bit later, talking about the Knicks.
Yes, we will.
But even though Draymond Green fell into the second round, he couldn't have fell into a better situation. An up-and-coming young team, Mark Jackson was the coach at the time, and he groomed all of these dudes. Then when Steve Kerr came along, Steve Kerr, championship pedigree, came and put the gloss on the team and took them to that next level, right? So shout out to Steve Kerr. Shout out to all the success that Golden State has had even while Draymond was there. Now, this is where Draymond gets it fucked up. He's like the dude, I'm trying to use a good analogy. He like, how can I say? Normally, a glue guy on a team, whether it's a basketball team, whether it's your team at work, whether it's a singing group, there's always a glue guy that hold the team together, even though you're not the guy, right? Like with all this Michael Jackson stuff going on, I figured out the glue guy for the Jackson 5 was Tito. Everybody loved Tito. Tito get on interviews and may he rest in peace and speak up for his family. He never talked down on his family. He never let anybody else talk down on his family. But some of the other Jacksons, they would get on these interviews and just be talking crazy. But Tito wasn't one of them. And Draymond Green, at the end of the day, is really a glue guy. That's really what he really is. But him hanging around LeBron, hanging around Steph Curry, all these dudes, now he got gassed thinking he one of them. You not one of them, bro. You the other nigga. You not the guy. You the other nigga.
You're the defense guy.
Yeah, you're not the guy. That's like Dennis Rodman getting on the Bulls, acting like he's more important to the Bulls than Michael Jordan. Dennis Rodman said it clear as day at his wildest. That bald guy, 23, yeah, he's the guy. I'm just here so I don't get fined. He's the guy, right? But for some reason with Draymond, he just got this delusion with him that he think he's more than what he is. Now, let's get into this Charles Barkley thing, right? Charles Barkley, who I watched his whole career, Hall of Famer, great player. Draymond Green, aside from those championships, his career can't even sniff Charles Barkley dirty draws. Like you not even nowhere in his league at all. Now, a few months ago, him and Kenyon Martin had a back and forth online with each other. Kenyon Martin went down this list. Yo, it was wild. I don't know if you've seen it. A list of power forwards in NBA history that's better than Draymond Green. When he went through the list, bro. Yo, you gotta look that list up, bro. It's funny as hell. It's hilarious. He went through this list of all of these dudes that's better than Draymond Green. Because Draymond be like, I'm the best defender of all time. I'm this, I'm that. I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up, bro. Every time he talk, I always comment on his stuff and be like, shut the fuck up, Draymond. You sound stupid. So a lot of bloviating, a lot of overvaluing himself. And the disrespect of Charles Barkley was crazy. And that stuff triggers me because I'm big on respecting my elders. Especially if you a legend, you did this and legendary shit. But Draymond really be talking crazy. And like I said, every time he talk, I get triggered just listening to him talk. He be talking straight nonsense out of his mouth. Now, let's get into the comment. I think the goal is just to not look like you in the Houston Rockets uniform. Charles Barkley, I believe, was his last 3 years in the league. He played for the Rockets. That was old man Charles Barkley on one knee. Still had better numbers than Draymond Green. Still was an all-star level player.
Right.
So you should be wanting to look like Charles Barkley on the Rockets, Draymond. You fucking prick. You should be wanting to look like that. Because you've never looked like that. Right. You should be shining Steph Curry shoes every time you see him. Because he's made your life a lot more better than what it would have been if you was a one-man show. So Draymond Green, fuck you, Draymond Green. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Fuck you,
Hold
Draymond.
that, Draymond. Hold that, Draymond.
All right.
Look at this bad boy. So this is the steak and eggs, Mexican style. So we're gonna see what it's hitting for. Steak and eggs, steak and eggs. So shout out to Ross. Shout out to Ross, who's the steak and eggs guy. That's for you, Ross. Steak and eggs. Alright, so let's chow down, let's take a little bite, see what's going on. Eggs is fire. Take a little bite of this steak. Steak is a little tough, but it's good though. It's a little tough, but it's good though. Shout out to Ross.
The New York Knicks are advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals for the second consecutive season. They swept the Philadelphia 76ers 4-0 in the second round, closing the series with an emphatic 144-114 victory. The Knicks are winning the winner of the
Mother's Day Massacre.
Massacre. Yes, it was. The Knicks are awaiting the winner of the Cavaliers-Pistons series. The 2026 Knicks are dominating the playoffs and shattering franchise records along the way. The Knicks' victory in Game 4 over the 76ers marked their 7th consecutive playoff win, the longest streak in franchise history. And in Game 4 against Philadelphia, they broke the franchise playoff record by sinking 25 three-pointers. They also posted a massive plus 20.3 net rating, historically among the highest in NBA postseason history. So I just want to clap it up for my Knicks. That was one of our first topics we did on the first episode of the, I believe it was the first or second episode of the Gentlemens Brunch, where we talked about, the journey of the Knicks. And as I stated on that episode, it really bothers people to see the Knicks having success. I've been looking for haters all day. It's real quiet on these internet streets, man. Aside from the Knicks podcast, the people that root for the Knicks, the haters, it's real quiet in these hater streets right now. And I've been trolling for the past 2 weeks on Instagram. I've been going crazy with the Knicks content. A lot of my reaction videos, the crowd reaction. I've been trolling haters left and right, and they all mad at me right now. So to all the Knicks haters, fuck you. This our year. We gonna knock it out the park, man. So what you think about the success of the Knicks, my brother?
Oh man. Let me get into the haters for one second.
Yeah, talk to them.
Do you think that Cam is a hater? Cam, from It Is What It Is. Do you think that he's a hater?
I heard his little take. He went on first take talking crazy.
Yeah,
that's how I'm telling you. With Cam is a troll, so I can't really take him. I don't take his sports serious, period. Even though that show is entertaining, I don't take Cam on serious with that. When it comes to sports, the same way how you passionate about politics, I'm passionate about sports. So I only entertain sports takes with people that really know sports, not just a casual person who's just talking shit. I don't really entertain that. So Cameron is a bit of a troll. He was talking mad nonsense on first take. So I can't really take him serious. I think he was just trolling. To answer your question.
I mean, yeah. Because as far as like, because I was beginning to wonder if I should put him into the hater category. I was beginning to wonder that. And one thing I did learn about Cam is that he said that his team is actually the Spurs or something like that. He said he's like a Spurs. Yeah, he said he's a big Spurs fan. I'm like, oh, that's very interesting. But haters aside, the haters just need to stay on that side while the Knicks fans and the Knicks faithful need to stay on this side, right? Because 2 years in a row, Eastern Conference Finals, and we have a better shot this year compared to last year. So we got only 8 more games to go.
That's it, baby.
Games to go until we get to that chip. And yes, exactly. And by all accounts, everyone else aside from the haters is like it is saying it's a real possibility this time around. One thing I don't like to count my chickens before they hatch, but this time I'm feeling really good compared to last season. I was very happy I was very happy that they sat OG Anunoby so he could get some rest. It seemed like the team is really clicking. I feel like what happened, especially coming out of everything that happened in Atlanta, really woke them up. It really woke them up to say like, okay, we got to really bring her all night after night after night after night. And what we're seeing now is only the sheer outcome of them being able to do just that. Going into the next series, everybody say, oh yeah, beware of Detroit, but I'm not really worried about Detroit. Like
I'm not worried about. Only team I'm worried about is OKC, the only team that I know can beat the Knicks. I feel like the Knicks should beat any other team without a question. Yeah. OKC, we got to play a damn near perfect series to beat them, but I feel like we can beat them. Sorry to cut you, bro.
That's the only. No. Because that's the point I was going to get to. I was about to say I would prefer us going up against like the Spurs or something like that. But if it's against OKC, I do agree with that. I even been seeing all the talk about OKC has been getting like favorable calls from the refs all series.
Yeah, they haven't lost a game yet in the playoffs.
Right. So it was like all these things kind of like working out for them. I would really hate for the Knicks to run into that kind of a buzzsaw. But if we got to go against the best to win it all, then I'd rather go through the best. I'd rather go through the best so you don't turn around and have haters saying, oh, they had an easy ride and they got it all the way because they had an easy ride.
Haters going to hate regardless. It don't matter who we play. Haters going.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I really do think that we got a really good shot. If we got to go through OKC, then we go through OKC. But it's championship or bust. Championship or bust. One thing I just wouldn't want for us again is just to be bounced out of the Eastern Conference Finals like last season. So even if we get to the chip, it's still a means of progress, but it's either you win it all or not. And now is the time. Especially with this team. This is the best Knicks team that any Knicks fan have seen in and who knows how long. So we got to really capitalize on this moment and take full advantage.
All right, so let me get into a couple things. All right, there was some controversy at the beginning of the year when they got rid of the coach from last year. That took them the furthest that they've been in 25 years. So that was a risky move. And rightly so, people was skeptical about it. Right, rightly so. The coach they got, Mike Brown, I'm still not the biggest Mike Brown fan, but out of all the coaches that was available, he was the most qualified coach. So he got a lot of experience, coach of the year twice, coached a team to the chip. He coached like great players before, so he know what he's doing as a coach. He's not some rookie coach. What else? The offense that he implemented with the team. That was one of the big gripes from last year. The coach we had, Tom Thibodeau, he was kind of like a one-trick pony, and he was very stern on that. Like he wasn't collaborative as they were saying, and the Knicks kind of peaked at a certain level with him, which is why many people feel that they collapsed last year in the conference finals, because he just didn't want to play the bench, try different things, because he was just so stuck on what he was doing. So this coach, there was a learning curve.
Because he burnt them out. Like they were completely burnt out by the time they got to.
We're gonna get to the bench. So that's the whole different topic. So there was a learning curve with the team throughout the season. I watched a lot of Knicks games this year, so I got to see them go through their growing pains throughout the season. But one thing that I never wavered on, they had everything they need to win. They had enough. They got a bench. They got a star player that's a closer that closed the game, because you need a closer at the end of games. Somebody that's going to bring it home for you. We got a big man. We got wings that could defend, and we had shooters, and we had a backup big man that was like physical. We needed a physical big man. I felt like last year's team, we lost a lot of our toughness from the year before. So when we got into those grinded out tough games, even though we were so capable of winning, it was a bit of a struggle because we didn't have enough on the bench. This year, they made an effort to put more guys on the bench. Then they made a trade during the trade deadline for Jose Alvarado, who was a great pickup because he fits that Knicks culture. Another tough guy, scrappy, get in there, fight your tooth and nail. And that was the last piece to the puzzle. Now, fast forward to the playoffs, right? In the Atlanta series. It looked a little shaky after that third game. I mean, everybody was trashing the Knicks. They was going, and it even had me questioning the Knicks. Even had me. So, I'm going to share this with you since you're a Knicks fan. There's two Knicks podcasts that I watch. I call them my Knicks therapists. Anytime after a game, I watch them. There's one I watch right after the game, and another one I watch that comes on during the morning time, gives a breakdown of the game. Real good analysis, and it's not biased like how it is on ESPN and all of these different networks. So as I watch these Knicks podcasts throughout the season, I took in everything that they, broke down. So when that third game in Atlanta happened and everybody was ready to throw the team out, throw them to the side, I said, you know what? It's just one game. I'm not going to overreact. And I don't know what clicks for them, which I think I know, but I'm not sure what the conversation was. So there's a clip that came out with Brunson and his father, where his father telling him, yo, pass the fucking ball. Because under Thibodeau, that was the style the coach was playing under. Everybody get out the way, give the ball to Jalen Brunson. This coach is like, spread the ball around. Mm-hmm. So Jalen Brunson finally bought into that of moving the ball and also getting off the ball and letting the big man dictate what's going on with the team. And I don't think they knew how great it was going to be, but what actually happened was it unlocked the whole team. Now, when Cat got the ball, nobody knew Cat was as good of a passer. Nobody knew this, except for Cat. Him having the ball, he's a threat as a shooter, as a big man. So you got to respect his three-point shot. So if you back off him, he's going to kill you with the three. You get up close on him, he can run by you. When the defense collapse on him, they call it gravity. All the gravity goes to him. Now those shooters is open because the floor spread. So he throwing those assists. So now, as a defender, you got to pick your poison, whether to get up on this dude or stay back on the shooters. And that's what can open the whole game. And then in the mix of all of that, now Jalen Brunson playing off the ball, the way how teams was defending him was with big wings, like athletic big wing dudes with length that could block off his vision, block off his angles. So he was working harder to get open shots. Him playing off the ball now with Cat dictating the offense, he running off picks like Steph Curry. Wow. So now with all the gravities on Cat, he kicking the ball to Brunson, he getting wide open strip shots, or he getting one-on-one opportunities. And I think when they finally figured that out, it opened the whole offense up. Now on defense, what I learned throughout the season, of course, watch my Knicks podcast and all those things. What I noticed about Cat, because I was like, man, we got to get rid of this motherfucker. This motherfucker, he's lazy. It's not that he was lazy. He's one of those big dudes. You got to keep him engaged in the game. When you just leave him to his own devices, he kind of wanders around, and then that's when he starts doing all the dumb shit he was doing. You show him love, keep him engaged in the game, even his defense is better. And I noticed that throughout the season. I said, you know what? Brunson is not getting him the ball enough. That's the reason why he kind of up and down. Ever since they've been getting that man that ball, he looked like a whole other player. Same thing with Mikal Bridges. I realized with them dudes, you got to keep them engaged in the game. You can't have them just floating around the court because they get lost in the game. And once they figured that formula out, they've looked like a completely different team, like a championship team. Throughout the season, they kind of been up and down. Everybody was all going crazy over the Detroit games. I tell people every year when it comes to sports, basketball and football, regular season is cute. It's cute, don't get me wrong. But what counts is the playoffs. Once you get in the playoffs, that regular season shit don't even mean nothing. We proved it with Boston last year. Boston whipped our ass every game last year. Got in the playoffs, handled them dudes. Pistons this year, they gave us that work because they were seeing that Jalen Brunson highlight all summer. So they was feeling away, right? But right now, we playing our best basketball. I want Detroit. I don't want to duck the smoke. I want Detroit. So we can show them who the big dog is. And I feel like the Knicks want Detroit too, so they can show them who the big dog is. Now, with all that being said, the Knicks play their game and stick to the game plan, which is what one of the podcasts said. When the Knicks stick to their game plan, they can beat anybody. When they go away from the game plan, getting a bunch of chucking, everybody doing their own thing, that's when they get in trouble. Ever since they got that whatever that switch is, and they stuck to it, that's why you see them just blowing teams out. So they got the formula now. They know exactly what to do. They just got to do it. Now, the two podcasts, one is called Knicks Fan TV. It's called KF TV.
Oh, yes. Yes, I know exactly
that's like my favorite Knicks podcast. I watch it every night. It's actually on in the background now. It's a fan-driven podcast. Like it's good therapy after a Knicks game. Whether it's like a win or loss, great therapy. Yeah. The other one, I call my Knicks therapist. I watch in the mornings. It's called Raw Hebrew. He also does like a religious thing, but he also does Knicks breakdowns in the mornings after every game. Very smart older guy. Yeah, he gives breakdowns every morning. So him and KFTV, those are my Knicks podcasts that I watch before and after games. And start watching the ESPN bullshit where they bias and all that bullshit. So man. Yeah. But shout out to the Knicks, man. Red and orange and blue skies, baby. Orange and blue skies.
I'm like, the steak and eggs is pretty good. I can't even front. The steak is just like a tad tough, not uneatable tough, but just a tad tough. But it's really good. I have a pretty good palate when it comes to tasting, and I was trying to like give it a chance. And this is pretty good. So if I had to give this steak and eggs, got a little French fries in there too, which I thought was a good touch. Little guacamole, little pickled onions in there. I threw a little ketchup on the eggs, and I would give some cheese in there too. If I had to give this a grade, I would say because of the toughness of the steak, I would give this somewhere between an A- and a B+. I gave the last episode brunch a B+, I believe it was. And the drink is pretty good too. I was trying to catch the taste of the drink too. That tastes like a real berry kind of like margarita. So think of like Fruity Pebbles and a margarita had a baby, then it would be this drink here. So between the drink and the meal, overall grade, I'm gonna say anywhere between an A- and a B+. Definitely would recommend Mama Taco. Nice little vibe, not too much going on. There's some ladies having her birthday in here, which I'm cool with that. Brunch birthdays is cool with me too. But nice little vibe, so definitely check out Mama Taco when you can. Stay tuned for more Gentlemens Brunch.
All right, let's get into our last topic of this pod. All right, the Michael biopic makes history. The Michael biopic has shattered global box office records, earning over $577 million globally to become the second highest grossing biopic in history. Starring Jafar Jackson, Michael Jackson's nephew, the film set the record for the highest grossing worldwide opening weekend ever for a musical biopic. The film opened with an explosive 97 million domestically and 217 million worldwide, easily surpassing the previous musical biopic record holder, Bohemian Rhapsody. It also dethroned Oppenheimer to secure the highest global opening weekend of any biopic. Despite drawing some divided reactions from critics, the film has resonated heavily with audiences, earning a stellar audience approval score on Rotten Tomatoes. The release of the film ignited a massive revival of the King of Pop's discography. Streams from Michael Jackson's catalog jumped over 146% during the film's theatrical debut, pushing his work back to the top of the charts. So, this is our third time talking about MJ on this season, and our early discussion when the movie was just, the trailer had just came out. We talked about that Michael magic, man. So the Michael magic has been on full display for these first 2 weeks of the release. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I watched the movie twice. Jafar was great in the movie. He played Michael great. So Jafar gets an A for me in terms of performance of playing Michael in the movie. Domingo Coleman that played Joe Jackson, he did a hell of a job playing Joe Jackson in the movie.
Yeah, Coleman Domingo.
Oh, Coleman Domingo. I knew it was something like that. Nia Long, she was okay for me, and I love me some Nia Long, but she was okay for me. What's my guy? Lorenz Tate as Barry Gordy. It was all right.
Yeah.
Dude that played Quincy Jones was a little bit better. So that's just in terms of the cast. The movie,
he did kind of look like him though. He did kind of look like him a bit though.
He had the look, definitely.
Yeah, he had the look. Yeah, he definitely had the look.
He had the look, but it was okay for me. The movie, I believe the original cut of the movie was for 4 hours, and they trimmed it down to 2 hours. So if anybody know Michael Jackson, you can't capture Michael Jackson in a 2-hour movie. That's just that's like a crime in itself. I would have compromised on 3 hours where they could have equally put the same amount of energy into each of the eras that they discussed in the movie. So I feel like similar to the Biggie movie, they kind of jumped from era to era kind of quick. So that kind of lost me a little bit with that. The musical performances was great in the movie. But it just wasn't enough time in the movie for me. The movie wasn't bad, just wasn't enough time in the movie for me. So I'm hearing there's going to be a part 2. But overall, I would give the movie, I'm going to say like a B+ for me. But the storyline, how they really just made Joe the villain of the movie, that was kind of foul. They made it seem like he basically just milking Michael Jackson and whooping his ass in the part-time. You know, that was kind of foul. He wanted the best for his family. I can't be mad at that. And sometimes you got to go extra hard in order to make that happen. So I get that. But then when Mike started to evolve as an artist and went through his own thing, I get that too. But I didn't like the way how they kind of villainized Joe in the movie. I didn't really like that.
What do you think about what's her name? Not wanting to be in the movie. Janet not wanting to be in the movie.
It is interesting because she wasn't mentioned in the movie or anything. It is interesting. I guess she got her reasons for not wanting to be in the movie, but I feel like you can't tell the Michael Jackson story without putting Janet Jackson in there. You just can't. You can't really do that. especially when they transitioned from Jackson 5 to solo Michael, because they had a TV show. Janet was all up on the TV show, so you can't really tell that story without putting Janet in there. So that's why that's why I can't give it an A, because it was a lot of meat left on the bone that they didn't dive into. So I get that part of it.
Yeah. So that's why I want to ask you, what do you think about Diana Ross not being in the movie or any other?
Yeah, she wasn't. They had Gladys in there over Diana Ross, which is interesting.
Right.
I guess because all of the speculation about Diana Ross having an inappropriate relationship with Mike, so that kind of residue there. And Diana Ross is still alive, so she could sue a couple motherfuckers if they got her looking crazy. So I'm pretty sure it was some powers that be that had something to do with that. But that was kind of interesting too that she wasn't in there. But I guess for whatever reason, she didn't want to be mentioned in the movie and was okay with that. Even when they did the premiere for the movie, I didn't hear her speak on the movie or anything.
No,
so that is pretty interesting.
It felt like a lot of fan service. Like if it felt like it was just meant for folks to just have a good time. Just get a little picture of who was there and who wasn't or whatever, get a real chance to see the performances, and you get some of those like little like background kind of things, but there was no depth there for me. I felt like it could have been much more. I felt like there could have been a lot more tension in the film than just villainizing Joe Jackson. That's the gift that keep giving. That's an easy out, man. Yeah, right. So thank you for saying that. It's an easy out to just go that route, because like there was so much more that happened, especially all between those eras. I felt like the. So it was just a lot of plot.
And then Joe not here to defend himself, so that was an easy out.
Yeah, exactly. So, and mind you, the family is the one that put this whole thing together. It was the family, it was the estate that put this whole thing together. So it's like
they did the same thing with the Biggie movie. All of them had something to do with the Biggie movie, and the Biggie movie was kind of glossy. It wasn't. It was a lot more meat left on the bone that they left out the movie.
And I do recall, it being like 4 hours, and then they cut it down to 2 because of the settlement that they had with whoever was like suing them or whatever the case was. I do agree. It would have been nice to just have it all be in one solid film, even if it was 3 hours. I do agree with that, because if there is going to be a part 2, and if it's going to be anything like part 1, then I don't expect part 2 to be any good. But you know what I do plan to watch, because I've been seeing a lot of like reviews and things like that or whatever for this film. I've been seeing a lot of like Michael fanatics point out all of the inconsistencies in the film. Like there's little intricacies I've seen a bunch of folks pick apart, but one thing I did learn is that there was another movie, there was a movie or a TV series that came out like in the 90s called like American Dream or something like that. And
you never seen that?
I never seen that,
bro. You gotta watch that, bro. You gotta watch. I'm assuming that you saw that. Oh, you gotta watch.
No, I never seen that. So me, in trying to do my homework and
everything, they got it on YouTube too, bro. They got it on YouTube. Okay. You gotta watch that. Bro.
Yeah.
I said I'm gonna watch that with my daughter. I told my daughter me and her gonna watch that together.
Okay. Yeah. So but I'm gonna do the same thing with my.
Much better. It's much better than the Michael movie. It's much better. Much better.
Yeah, because like for this one, I took the whole family out to go and see the film. My kids like. My kids, like, they love the performances, but everything else they was kind of like, oh, okay, it was cool, whatever the case was. But the American Dream film, I definitely want to go and watch that as well.
When you got a weekend, at the crib, not much going on, pop that joint right on, man. I would tell you to reserve your grade until after you watch that American Dream. Watch that American Dream. And then go watch the Michael movie again, and then give me a grade one. All right, my brother. Digital fist bump.
Yes.
9 down. One more to go until we conclude season 1 of the Gentlemens Brunch. So once again, I want to thank my brother Ross, the product, for going on this podcast journey with me as we wind it down season 1 of the Gentlemens Brunch, and also wind it down episode 9 of Brunch to Celebrate. All right, so make sure you follow Ross online when you see him under Ross the Product on Instagram, Ross Weekly on YouTube. Make sure you show that love. Make sure you follow the Gentlemen's Brunch on Instagram and on YouTube, and follow Billie G. Williams on Facebook and all your socials. All right, I just finished brunch at Mama Tacos. I definitely enjoyed the meal. Definitely good experience. It was a little laid back in there. It wasn't like a super duper crowd. Good vibes. Music was definitely good. Hip hop heavy. Steak and eggs was definitely hitting. Like I said, I give it a little bit between the A- and a B+. I would definitely recommend for you to come check out Mama Tacos in Bushwick, Brooklyn. So signing off on this episode, it's your boy Billie G. Till next time. Peace.